Hello and welcome! So in this sub-series I will analyze the Pleiades of Overlord, the battlemate formation created for the sole purpose to look cool and die slow enough to give the 41 supreme beings the time needed to assemble in full force for a last, grandiose battle. An idea originally proposed by Ulbert Elaine Odell, the strongest magic caster Nazarick and the creator of Demiurge. He reasoned that since they are treated like villains and monsters simply for playing as heteromorph characters, they should fashion themselves in such a manner. And like every proper villain, they should die in a final stand instead of meekly admitting defeat. Because any invasion force that is able to clear the 8th floor is also quite likely to defeat the 41 supreme beings of Nazarick. So the Pleiades are essentially just a tool to buy time for battle preparation. But despite this fact, a lot of thought went into each of the sisters, their design, their personalities, and how to use them most effectively. Long story short, the battlemates can be deployed in two formations. The Pleiades 6-star formation is led by Sebastian, and the Pleiades 7 Sister formation is led by the youngest of them all, Orioli Omega, a level 100 commander. These two different formations are necessary for the following reason. Since Orioli, the youngest sister, is usually stationed in the Cherry Blossom Sanctuary to facilitate intra-Nazarick teleportation, she might teleport herself to the 8th floor if it is breached in order to buff Rubedo and the other top NPCs on it. But she too will most certainly fall if even Rubedo is defeated in battle. So if Rubedo is ever killed, then the 6 sisters might be summoned as reinforcement by Orioli to delay the invasion. Or she teleports to the 9th floor to lead the battlemate formation from there. But if Orioli is already killed before she can do any of it, then Sebas takes on the role of the commander. In the new world, the usual 6-star formation was active until Sebas and Suare came together, and supposedly came together, during their day off. After this, Orioli became the former leader of the 7 Sister formation. But since she's needed for intra-Nazarick teleportation, Yuri Alpha is the de facto leader. So let's dive a bit into her background first. Similar to her creatress, the supreme being Yamaiko, who also had a gifted little sister, she is usually calm, collected, friendly and polite. She's also called Big Sis by every other Pleiades, placing further emphasis on her status as leader and commander. This nickname is also a reference to Yamaiko, since she was valued as a calm and collected advisor by her friends. Similar to the undead king himself, Yuri is a Dullahan, a headless undead. And thusly she is also subject to the same emotional suppression as Ain's old gown. In order to cover up the rather large scar any beheading tends to leave behind, she also wears a nice ribbon, which furthermore helps to keep her head attached to her body. And to underline her intelligence and her interest in education, she also wears glasses. So in essence, since her creator Yamaiko is a calm and kind teacher herself, she basically imprinted on Yuri Alpha quite heavily. Additionally, Shaltir Bloodfallen has taken quite the interest in this particular battlemate, because one of the many weird, unusual, macabre and downright concerning fetishes the supreme being Pero Ronchino imbued her with is necrophilia. And since Yuri is an undead and wears glasses, which apparently is also one of Shaltir's many fetishes, she garnered some unwanted attention. Yuri likely dislikes Shaltir and avoids her because she's quite the evil sadist, while Yuri herself, despite her somewhat collected and strict attitude, is far more benevolent. The same benevolence is also the reason why Yuri occasionally gets somewhat irritated by her more sadistic sisters. With a positive karma value of 150, she's one of the 2 saved Pleiades. Thusly it was no coincidence that both she and Shizu, the other somewhat kind battlemate, kept Evil Eye busy while Momon was showing off his skills. This is far more important than it seems at first glance, considering that mere hours before this battle commenced, Evil Eye nearly killed Entoma. And taking their karma value into account, Solution, Naberal and Lupus Regina might lost their cool and simply killed Evil Eye in a moment of rage. And even with their good alignment, both Shizo and Yuri are additionally emotional inhibited. Shizo Delta seems composed at all times, which might be due to her nature as an automaton and her somewhat militaristic design and background, which enables her to stay in command of her emotions. While Yuri Alpha is, as mentioned before, under the same undead emotional suppression mechanism as Eins. As a Dullahan, she also is, like many other undead, practically immune to physical pain, and thusly excellent for close quarter combat. Because Yuri Alpha will not be distracted easily by pain, suffering and fatigue, just like her creatress. To underline her kind and carrying nature even more, Yuri Alpha along with Nigredo saved children marked for certain death, and ended up with detention for being disobedient. This is hilarious since Nigredo's home is a prison cell, and because Yuri's creator, as mentioned before, was a teacher. And speaking of it, while Eins was collecting ideas on how to rule the freshly founded Sorcerer Kingdom, Yuri proposed a nationwide education institution starting with an orphanage. This will eventually enable Nazarick to scout for talented people, considering that a system like this is already in place at the Empire, so Yuri might receive some assistance from Fluda Paradane as well. This new founded institution might also be linked to the now state-owned Adventurer Guild in the future. So let me give you an example what I mean by this. Fluda Paradane might come to the various schools once a year to scout for useful talents among the students. And if somebody has a talent suited for scouting or combat, the student in question might be offered a special career path in the Adventurer Guild of the Sorcerer Kingdom. At this point in time it is still speculation, but since Eins is currently returning to the Sorcerer Kingdom, we might get some clarity about its general state in the next light novel. And with this little note, I will end the lore video for today. Over and out.